Welcome back, everybody, to Keeping Up with Senior Solutions. We have a great show for you today. Joining us will be three of our area's senior center directors. We have Mark Bradley from the Bugby, we have Deanna Jones from the Thompson, and we have Sarah Clark from Brattleboro. And they're all just itching to tell you all kinds of things about what they had done during COVID in this past year and a half, what they have coming up, what they're planning, what they're wishing, and all kinds of things. So Mark, and I also have to introduce Jim.
Yes, how are you?
Jim has lots to say too, because he's a very, very interested person in all of our guests. So we're going to ask a few questions, but no stump the stars questions. So Mark, could you start us off and give us a little bit of who you are, when you started, because I know you're new, and then we'll talk about all the things you want to talk about. Thank you.
Sure. My name is Mark. I'm the director here at Bugby Senior Center. I only started working here last August, right in the middle of the pandemic. So it's been an interesting time to come on board here, but we've made the best of it, and I've really had a blast so far. And it's going to be even better once we can start having people in again. So I guess probably an update on our reopening plans would be in order, because it's been a really long time since we've been able to do anything. We are going to start resuming congregate meals on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, so people can come back for lunch. It's not going to be at full capacity just yet. We're going to be pretty careful for the month of June, just to sort of see how things go and give ourselves a chance to get back in the swing of things. So people can call in anytime that morning up until 9:30 to book their spot and come by for lunch. So we're really excited about that.
That sounds really good.
It's been so quiet this year. So we are also resuming some of our activities. So senior fitness is coming back to the center. We'll do chair yoga in June, and beginner line dancing, which is always fun. I have a music background, so I like anything that involves some music out there. So
that sounds fun.
Yeah, and then in July we'll probably start to expand to more activities, and most of our folks have been vaccinated, so we can start to loosen up a little bit, and we're really happy about that.
Well, let me ask you a question. How would people call you? What's your number? If they want to reserve a seat at the table.
295-9068.
Thank you. That's great. We'll come back to you too. Jim, you have any questions for Mark?
Just what is your own background in this field, Mark? And why did you decide to get involved in working with the senior population?
Sure, that's a great question. So my background is mostly in nonprofit administration, and I come from the performing arts world. So I used to work over at Lebanon Opera House across the river from us in White River Junction, and then went over to Middlebury. I was the director of Town Hall Theater there. And I left that job in February last year, thinking that I might want to have a bit of a change of pace after about, I think it was 6 years working in performing arts. The pandemic had other plans for me. It kind of threw things off a little bit. But one of our volunteers at the Opera House called me, and he was always talking about Bugby Senior Center. And years ago, I jokingly told him, I said, well, if there's ever a job that opens up there, let me know. And then what do you know?
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm new to the field, but it's been really, really great to get up to speed and see how things work. And it's a good cause. I'm delighted to be part of it.
Well, I'm sure that you are going to do a great job, and you have your fellow center directors to lean on for experience and advice. And we'll come back and ask you some more things, because as soon as we leave you, you're going to think of things you want to say. So
that's right.
So Jim, how about if we hop over to Deanna? Deanna, I know that everybody probably knows you in the senior center world because aren't you like the president of the organization or something?
Well, I've been in this role at the Thompson Senior Center going on 11 years now, which I think is, a bit of longevity in this
Yeah.
role. But I'm the co-chair of the Vermont Association of Senior Center and Meal Providers, along with Jana Claire from the Montpelier Senior Activity Center. And Sarah is actually on our steering committee as well. So we do have a great network of senior centers that connect and try to support each other. Mark's been involved over the last year, and I can vouch for what a fabulous job he's done as a brand new director, even during COVID, really getting engaged. And I think what I'd love to share, and you've heard me say before, Joanne, but senior centers have done such a fabulous job this year of staying connected with people and getting meals out. And even though our doors had to be closed for group activities, we were not really closed. We were busier than ever staying connected with people. And many senior centers launched virtual programs, and it's been a really interesting transition, even now that we're able to start some group activities back up together. What will we do with all those virtual programs that have been so successful? Mm-hmm. And I think some of them will continue. There really will be a sort of a new face of what a senior center looks like inside and outside of our walls.
I think it's almost like you're going to be doing hybrid sort of senior centers, because you're going to reopen and restart and come up with new programs for in situ. But this gives you now the continuing opportunity to reach further afield to people who could never even make it to the center.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting.
That's very true. And it's, something we've seen over the last year. We had a few people move out of the area to be with family and during COVID, and they were still able to connect over the phone and virtually. And they still want to. Their friends are here, and it allows them to. And then we've had a couple of people that have stopped driving since COVID started, and said to me this morning, I hope you're still going to do this phone program or that, so we will. It will be a hybrid sort of model of what we're doing. But we're also looking forward to having people back in the building in groups beginning June 1st.
Oh, nice.
We have, we've put up picnic tables with umbrellas, and we have a tent in the backyard where people can gather already. But for the dining room reservations for meals, that'll start on June 1st. We will have in-house dining Monday through Thursday for the month of June. And then Friday will be outside in tent, only. We have some special things happening in the building on Fridays, but Monday through Thursday, and the same with Mark, that Mark said you can call by 9:30 in the morning and sign up. We are limiting our capacity inside in the dining room to 20 for the month of June. And then expect that with the Vermont Forward plans, we'll be able to move and change that capacity for July as well.
Great.
But we're excited.
So you have to be quick on the telephone to make those reservations for be the one of the 20 that get in. What's the number they should call?
Our number is 457-3277.
Good. Don't worry though, I won't call because I live too far away.
That's okay.
But it sounds good.
But some other things that are happening and good news, we put a floor in the tent we have out back so that we have an even surface for Tai Chi and bone builders that happen in the tent. Our caregiver support group is back in person, but we still will have a number of virtual programs happening. We have Dr. Santulli giving an overview on dementia in June. We're having a plant giveaway in June under the tent.
Wow.
We have some art programs and a bird ER program happening on Zoom with VINs in June.
Wait a minute. Stop, Deanna. What's bird ER? Is that emergency hospital for birds?
I think it's how Winds rehabilitates birds.
Oh, nice. That's great.
And then we have a walking group that's has started back up, and that's happening, as well as foot clinics and those types of programs that we've had ongoing.
Wow.
That's sort
Well,
of
I
it.
remember back in the fall, before it got real cold, you were doing exercise classes out under a tent before it got too cold.
Right.
So it's like you guys never stopped.
It feels like it.
Thanks. I'll come back to you again too. Okay, Sarah, how have you been?
Good, good. So I'm Sarah. I'm the activities coordinator at the Brattleboro Senior Center, and we've brought back a lot of our programs, especially the outdoor programs. We have our senior pickleball, tennis, and softball programs all running.
Wow.
In addition, we've kind of transitioned our watercolor painting group outside to our Kiwanis shelter that's at Living Memorial Park. So that way they're outside, they're nice and spread out, and they have a great view that they can paint if they want. In addition, we also have our knitting group, our mixed fiber arts group that is meeting in here indoors, as well as our line dancing and Tai Chi. We have been in the works of trying to add in some more fitness classes and programs like that indoors, but that probably won't happen until July or so.
Well, hey, Jim, I don't know about you, but I'm starting to feel like we need to do a road tour and join in on some of these exciting programs.
Oh, I was thinking the same thing, because I enjoyed visiting. I know I way back when I first started with Senior Solutions, I went to Brattleboro and really enjoyed my visit with the people sitting around with everybody, and it was really enjoyable. You know, the food is really good too.
Oh, yeah, let's not forget that. But I think the senior centers do provide such a wonderful connection to the community and to keep people active and engaged. You know, there really is no substitute for that. And
Absolutely.
I want to personally thank all three of you for sticking it out through COVID, for finding ways to get meals delivered, for working hard to keep in touch with the people that you had phone numbers and emails for, and for continuing to research and adapt so that you could continue to serve people. I mean, I'm really impressed, and I just want everybody out there to understand how important the senior centers are for the well-being of our aging population. So it's just a special thank you. I would give you, yes,
Right.
big clap. So, Sarah, I'm sorry to interrupt you. You were just
No.
finishing up?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was it.
Oh, yeah, sure, that's all. Mhm.
You know, I think all of you, you know, create this need that people have for socialization, no matter what age they are. I'm an educator, ex-principal, all of that. Everybody still needs to socialize, you know, and the fact that you folks offer those type of activities is amazing. It really helps a person's mind and their attitude.
Yeah. I guess when I can't go to work anymore, I'm just going to have to start visiting all the centers. So I'm looking forward to that. Does anybody have a special message, like a new idea maybe that you came up with because of the challenges of COVID-19? Any ideas that you came up with? I see heads shaking.
I'm always the first one to talk, so I was trying to get
It's okay, Deanna, jump in. Thank you.
They're both used to it, I'm sorry to say. Well, I was going to first say one thing that you just mentioned, and it's one of my favorite stories from being here. We have language tables where people speak different languages during lunch. So one day is a French table, one day is an Italian table. And one of the ladies, a really vibrant lady in her 70s, she'd been coming for about 10 years to the same language table. So they really connect and are very close. But she told me when I first started here that she wished she'd come even younger. So, that would have put her in her 50s and 60s. And it reminds me, of what a diverse group of people that we have that come of all different ages. And I think sometimes people think that senior centers, they have in their mind it's a certain demographic, and but it's really not true anymore. And I love that she wished that she had been coming in her 50s, because
it speaks very well of the center too.
Yeah.
And I think you have a good point there. A lot of times, I know at Senior Solutions, we talk about it sometimes, the fact, and Jim has remarked on it a lot, when you engage people of different age groups, it becomes even more vibrant. Mm-hmm. So, there are things that I'm sure you guys do with the people who come to the senior center and get other people in the communities involved. And boy, that really helps, because nothing is worse than finding yourself, maybe, you have vans too. Are you able to pick people up to bring them to the center? Mm-hmm. I think that's so crucial, because when they're stuck at home and they can't get out, it's very limiting. Mm-hmm. So those vans are amazing. So good for you. That's all I'm saying.
Thanks for all the, nice comments too, Joanne. We appreciate that. People have been working really hard, and volunteers and staff, it's been a long year for them, but very rewarding at the same time. And I think lots of creative things have come out of it. We have a monthly call with all the senior centers in the state of Vermont, and we've heard so many fabulous ideas and things that they've done throughout the year, and just unique ways to connect. One of the most fun things that we thought was pretty fun, and seemed like it was going to be a small thing, but at the holidays, we had a holiday drive-in, holiday light show, and brought cookies and hot chocolate out to cars, and then projected lights onto the side of the building with holiday music. And it was
nice.
Really good, and it was more fun than we even expected it to be. And it's really funny, because we have a neighbor, we're in a residential kind of area, and she said, if there's loud music playing, I know it's coming from the senior center. We had the steel drums and for a luau for our volunteer appreciation, and the steel drums played while people came to get their meals. And she messaged me again and said, I know that music's coming from the senior center.
But that's a good thing. That is a good thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So lots of creative ideas like that. I think others have had drive-in types of events too.
Well, I guess if we talk to Mark, he'll be telling us next year about all the dances they held out in the parking lot to slow down traffic.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, we've had a few really nice sort of drive-through events, and it's been a challenge sort of keeping in touch with everybody, but I have to say it's been really fun to see the seniors getting on Zoom now. My favorite, I was telling my friends, they're like, well, what do you do at the senior center? And I'm like, I just train people how to use Zoom now, it seems. But there's this one lady who was, she had called a few times asking about it, and was really intimidated by the idea. And one morning, I said, well, look, I'll just walk you through it on the phone. And, it took about a half hour to get her to the website, to download the software, to sort of get everything set. But then, she popped up on my screen, and then she was able to see me while we were talking on the phone, and just her eyes lit up, and she just looked at me and said, I can see my doctor now if I need to. She hadn't, she had not even been going to the doctor because of the pandemic. And now she realized that, a whole bunch of stuff was opening up. And that was just really gratifying to realize that, some of the stuff that our seniors have been getting used to on the computer are really going to benefit them in the long term, because even outside of the pandemic, just getting around in wintertime for some of our folks is a real challenge. So
that's true.
Yeah.
No, you really opened up the world for her.
Yeah. And a bunch of other people. Some of the virtual activities we thought we were going to get maybe, 5 or 6 people, and some of the sessions we were getting 20 to 30. So it was pretty amazing. Yeah.
One thing you guys don't have to worry about when you do these virtual events, you don't have to worry about the fire code and how many people can be in the building.
Yeah, that's true.
2 programs that I've kind of started doing here in Brattleboro. I think one idea actually came from Deanna originally, was the drive-through ice cream social.
Oh,
And I did that twice last year and it was a huge hit. So I actually am going to start it back up again this coming month, because who doesn't love ice cream? And
that's
we
right.
meet
Yeah,
at
tell
the
me what
park.
day it is.
Yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that. But we do it up at the Common, where it's a nice area. People can bring their lawn chairs, they can spread out, they can just take it and go if they want. But another thing that we kind of did when we shut down is a lot of handwritten letters back and forth with folks, because internet and email is not necessarily something that everyone has. And sometimes their phone service is really bad or they don't have a phone. So I wrote a lot of letters by hand, and it was great getting the responses back. People would attach photos to it, throw them in the envelope and mail them back. So
Oh,
it was kind of nice to bring back the old school pen pals as well.
right. Yes, that's
Yeah,
right. And when
we had a similar project at Senior Solutions during Valentine's Day week, and where our area schools, we got the students so excited to write Valentine's Day cards to our seniors in the area. And we distributed them through Meals on Wheels. And it really was quite an impact, not only for our seniors, but for the students.
That's right.
It's amazing.
Yeah, they loved it. They really did. And it seems like such a simple thing, like writing a note, making cards, making pictures. But I think when you are limited as to where you can go and what you can do, when somebody reaches out to you, it's so meaningful. It just thrills them. And it makes everybody who does it feel good too.
And it's something they can hold on to and put on their fridge or read on a day where it's dark and gray and they want something positive. It's just nice to have something physical that they can hold on to.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I think you guys are doing an amazing job. Really.
I have a question for you folks. How do you utilize volunteers in your organizations?
Well, we have about 180 volunteers that give almost 7,000 hours a year. So it's pretty obvious that they're absolutely crucial to our operations.
Right.
We have 5 to 7 Meals on Wheels routes a day, and those are all volunteers 5 days a week. We have volunteer wait staff. We've just brought back a volunteer receptionist for some half days a week. So it's wonderful to have her answering the phone again. And then we use them as program facilitators, just many, many ways. Phone calls, friendly phone calls, like has been mentioned.
Right.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, we've been finding, even in the worst part of the pandemic, we were still permitted to have one person in at a time. And we found that bringing people into volunteer, we sometimes struggle to find a project for people, but just having them answer the phone and I think really help some of the especially isolated ones who live alone get out and have something to do that day. So we're glad that we were still able to do that even in the worst of the pandemic.
That's true. Well, Mark, it's going to get better.
I sure hope so.
We even have volunteer newsletter folders that fold all of our 1,500 newsletters. I can't forget to mention them, especially if they're watching. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot
tomorrow.
Go ahead.
Oh no, our newsletter people are coming in tomorrow, and it saves us a lot of work, and they have a great time while they do it.
It does. I don't think the volunteers realize how much of a help they are to us, but also the patrons of the center, because sometimes they're that, I don't want to say gatekeeper, but they're that middleman, the face at the front door. So the volunteers really do impact the patrons here, whether they're meal deliverers, our receptionist, like you guys said, working in the kitchen or folding newsletters. Everyone has a really important role here that really helps and contributes to making such a positive and great atmosphere. I mean, they're irreplaceable. Definitely.
That's right. Yep, volunteers are like gold. They're just great.
And I think it's also important. It really contributes to people's self-worth. And,
Yes.
I think I've read lots of things about volunteers, just their quality of life and happiness, satisfaction, life satisfaction, and increases with volunteerism as well.
It's true. And they've done studies that show the more hours people spend volunteering, the better they feel. It keeps people going mentally and physically. Yeah. And the fact that people appreciate what they do doesn't hurt either.
That's right. That's right.
So what did we not ask you? Anything that you'd really like to talk about? Let's recap and restate when you think you're going to be reopening. I'll start with you, Sarah, because you're on my picture board on the left.
So we are technically open right now. It is by limited programs and reservations, and a majority of our programs are taking place outdoors. The congregate meals, I'm not sure when they're going to restart. I think in the next month or so. But folks can always call us at 257-7570.
Yay!
More information on the meals or on programs. They can also email us, and we're constantly adding new programs and changing things. So
super. Deanna, what do you have for your dates for opening?
Sure. Well, we're open now also. You can still get a grab and go lunch and have it at the picnic tables with friends or in the tent now. So that's happening. And all of our services are still going. But for group meals, the dining room will be open June 1st for an inside reservation. So
Great.
you can reach us at 457-3277.
Nice. Okay, and Mark, what are your thoughts?
Well, our first our lunch activity since probably the fall, I think was the last time we were able to do it, is going to be Wednesday, June 2nd. And so it'll be Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays for the month of June, and then probably every day from July moving forward. And we've got a whole bunch of small activities and special events that are being planned out. So you can always call us here, 295-9068, to sign up and register or learn more about all the stuff that's going on.
Well, I don't know about you, Jim, but I'm super impressed about all the things that these senior centers are doing.
Right.
Yeah, they must be taking vitamins.
Well, I think our seniors that are listening, if they haven't taken advantage of a senior center, drop in sometime and visit and meet people, because I think it can really make a difference in your life.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure that people understand, some people may have the wrong image of a senior center. When you say senior center, I just want to assure people out there and kind of warn them, this is not a place where people are just sitting there dozing in a rocking chair.
Right.
Okay, that is not what goes on at senior centers. These people, they're playing games, they're doing sports, they're doing artwork, they're laughing, talking, singing, dancing, they're learning things, they're having a wonderful time. So even if you live alone and you're shy, you're like, oh, I don't want to go to the center, I'm scared. They are lovely people. And if you just go one time, it'll break the barrier and you'll want to keep going back because you're going to love it. So.
Right. Good. Well, it's so welcoming. I felt anyways. I've been to Brattleboro and I've been to the senior center in Bells Falls. And I was invited. I'm a senior myself anyway, so I do fit in. But I was invited at this table in Bellows Falls, and I couldn't leave. I was there for 2 hours and enjoyed every minute of it.
That's a great testimonial. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Gosh, we really appreciate having you on today. And I really, really, really hope that your communities watch this. They can always get it on YouTube. They can go to BCTV's website, the streams, and we're going to try to see if we can't get it shown in all of the public access TV outlets: White River Junction, Okemo Valley, Windsor on Air, Bellows Falls, of course, Brattleboro. And I think there's one also out in Deerfield Valley by Wilmington. So we're going to try to spread the word and make sure that we keep you busy. How's that? Thank you so much. You're lovely, and hope to talk to you again soon.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, everybody. See us again, and make sure you get to your local senior center. Thanks.